Hey everyone, welcome back. I am working on a 2010 Challenger here, and it's got an engine problem, and that is not normally where I am playing. Usually if there's something mechanical going on, that's someone else's baby. I'm just too busy doing fab work, tuning, and so on. But I did some fab work to this. I tuned it, and he's had a lot of fun with it. He's drag raced it, and somebody else had built the engine, and now all of a sudden it has some serious engine noises. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what I did to find out what's going on and where the noise is located. Like I said, engines aren't normally what I play with, especially other people's stuff. I like playing with my own or friends or whatever. I don't usually do the customer stuff, but this engine, he was trying to diagnose himself, so he had it partially torn apart. I have now put it back together. Well, I put it back together when it got here, and it has been here a seriously long time. I'm considering this probably more of a major job, so I actually booked those in a different category, which takes a long time. Enough blah, blah, blah. What I have done is I have went cylinder to cylinder and removed each coil and then started it up to see if I could isolate the noise. Because what I want to do is I want to go and see if it's related to one actual cylinder, this noise. And I have this coil unplugged. I did all those and came around here second from the back. It's unplugged and I found the noise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire this car up and we'll plug the coil in and see if you can hear it. Of course, you plug it in and you can't get it back unplugged, but it is definitely got a crazy weird popping sound. It sounds like going into the intake. So I'm thinking that we have a valve issue here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rip this side of the car apart. Probably got to pull off the supercharger and stuff to get this valve cover off, but that's the next steps and we'll see if I find anything inside. I might throw a camera through the plug holes. I don't know if I want to get really deep into this, but we'll take a look and see what we can find. Well, this is very interesting. It doesn't really explain the popping in the intake sound, but it might not be popping in the intake. It might be parts just floating around in this engine. When I pulled this apart, pulled the valve cover off, here I noticed there's a push rod laying here. So I started looking at valve springs. Is there something broken? Is there rocker arm broken? Whatever. And I'm looking down here at this valve spring thinking, what the world? And I notice there's a gap under the rocker shaft. And this right here, rocker shaft, is actually underneath this loose bolt. Well, it turns out this rocker shaft is completely loose here. So what I'm going to have to do is just pull this side apart to check everything. Make sure there isn't a broken valve spring or something like that. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to just put this back together and run it. I think this might have been an installer error. Forgot to tighten some bolts or something. Bit of a new discovery. I went to take these bolts out. This one's turning out properly. This one here, when I went to get it, it's flopping side to side, which made me look a little bit further. I don't think you'll be able to see it, but those loose bolts and that rocker shaft being able to slide over has broke this cylinder head where the rocker shafts bolt on. Well, this side's broken off. So I guess it's probably pull the motor and send it away or change the cylinder head, one or the other. That's more than I wanted to have to do. I just got off the phone with the owner of the car, and we kind of came up with a plan now. I guess I want to go over why I think this thing failed. The threads inside this piece are in good shape, and so I don't think it was... I can't see it being that it wasn't loose bolts, seeing that there is other loose bolts in here. This back here, we'll take a look and see. I don't think there's any cracking or anything in it, but because the Dodge push rods come in on a bit of an angle, I believe that if this bolt was loose enough that this could make it underneath, this one can't quite yet, but that it could make it underneath here, that this was pushing this rocker arm forward enough to actually throw the push rod, and, well, probably broke this shaft before it threw the push rod. But anyway, the plan is gonna be, I guess, pulling the top of this engine off. We're gonna get a used cylinder head sent to the machine shop, this cylinder head sent to the machine shop. I'm gonna get them to change the valve springs, everything over, check the cylinder head, make sure it's all good. And I mean, it's deeper than I actually wanted to get to go, because I don't actually I usually do not do engine work for these guys, but I guess it's time to tear this apart with this intercooler setup and stuff. Probably got to pull the front end off the car, because we have to get to the bolts to the front of the cylinder head, and it's impossible the way it is there. So I guess it's time for a rip and tear procedure to see how hard this this top end of this engine is going to be to get off. And hopefully there's nothing on the other side that is a problem. We'll pull that valve cover and check the torque on the rocker shafts anyways. This video initially was to help you figure out how to identify engine noise related particularly to a cylinder. Sometimes scan tools you can do it. This was easy enough for me to throw back together and unplug coil packs. That limited the running time of this thing, and that's what I was trying to do. So we identified a dead cylinder. We identified the problem with it. I kind of started getting into the repair. If there's something that's really wazoo weird with it, but I'm pretty sure I know what we're going to be changing. So hopefully this video helped you in maybe trying to find an engine noise by killing cylinders. It doesn't always work depending on what the noise is, but it's very common that the noise will change if you kill a cylinder. So if you have any questions, comments, or even helpful hints for other people that might be watching the video, you can drop that in the comments. And we have a lot of helpful little tips and tricks on the channel, and keep up with lots of fun projects that we have. So if you don't mind, check those out, and please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.